All right. So, are we watching The Outlaw Josie Wales, The Last Samurai, or Dances with Wolves? Those questions and more as I get Josh, Bailey. You know the deal. Let's get into this. All right. Once again, we are back. Book of Boba Fett breakdown, episode 2. This time, the Tribes of Tatooine, and of course, as most of these titles have, this has a double entendre, several different types of meanings. But before we get started, before we talk about any of that stuff, you guys know how I like to do. I picked the right hand. Look at that. I got the right hand this time. Josh, how are you doing, sir? It's good to see you.
I am excellent. Glad to be here.
Good, man. You look, I got a nice smile on your face, looking fresh and dapper over there, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're trying to take away my third or fourth best looking guy on the internet title, and I think you won. Bailey, over to you, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm happy to be here. It's the first week back in school for us. Yeah, this is the most exciting part of my week. So,
by the way, you know what? I'm going to see if I can figure out how to do this really quick. It probably can't figure out how to do it. You know what? I'm just going to leave it like that. Bailey, I just wanted to point out that's an incredibly attractive shirt you have on there, man.
Oh, I know, right? Isn't it great?
I can't figure out how to pull the titles off of us too. But anyway, pretty soon we'll all be in uniform.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
There you
go. Even got a little breakdowns in
Arabesh.
Arabesh.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm glad it came out good. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Let's go over really quick, you guys, and see who's joined us before we get started. There's Ominous Ox. Can't wait for the breakdown. G-Force. I don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah, when someone says y'all, you know they're serious.
Born in Virginia. They're speaking my language right there.
G-Force knows what's up.
Yeah, he know. Gilster.
Hey, Gilster.
Always good to see you. Yeah, okay. The world is right. Everything is as it should be. Hey, Paul. And Mr. B jumped in there right before she got it. What's up, Mr. B? Hey, there we go. She didn't forget about you guys. Chat was just going though. All right, everybody saying hi to everybody. J Squared is in the house.
Hey, John.
Everybody saying hi to everybody. Let me get on down the road. Bailey talking about obsessed. Hammer time. Hammer.
Not going away.
Nope. At least this time we get one that uses little speaky things. So that was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, I actually got a kick out of that. They did his voice really well. Darth Muzza. To see you. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. There you go. And in addition to the other 4, Gary Moore, Lawrence of Arabia. Throw that right in there. Maybe a little Paul Newman and Robert Redford on the train robbery there. Yeah, you guys know. Oh, man, this one's going to be fun. I can already see it coming. Oh, good Lord, the chat just jumped like a mother. We're getting really popular, you guys. Hey, Rolando, it's good to see you. JT, going to bed soon, but stay. I appreciate that. I had to get up for this. I was already in bed because I'm old and took a nap. Joe Blake Skywalker. That's a cool name, actually. I like that. There you go, Crazy 8.
Crazy.
Oh, man. It's hopping in the chat, you guys. Oh, Pete, thank you. Yeah, I would tell you how to subscribe to these two, but they don't have any subscriptions, so you just have to follow them on Twitter if you're interested in paying attention to these guys. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Oh, I don't think I did. All right. We're going to do this because it's easier to do that. All right, cool. Book of Boba Fett breakdown, chapter 2. Tribes of Tatooine. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. You know what? Josh, we're just going to keep this the way we always do it. I'm going to start off with you, sir. You're the guest. We love you. A couple of words, couple of sentences. What are your quick overall impressions of this episode?
I liked it better than the first one. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to start jumping up on the couch or anything, but it's it was definitely better than the first one.
My friend. I would go. Sorry.
No, I don't want to get too deep into it. We'll get into it later. But yeah.
Okay. We finna get all.
I liked
up in
it better
this.
than the first one.
That's a very diplomatic, very, very safe way to put that, sir. Bailey, how about you, man? A couple of words, couple of sentences. What you got for us?
I have to second what Josh is saying. I enjoyed it more than the first. It was entertaining, but am I blown away by it? No, not yet. I'm not sold yet. Yeah.
You know what? And once again, I think you guys are kind of headed right where I'm going as well in my mind as well. So that's good to hear. So, all right, Josh, we're going to go back over to you. Let's just get right into this, dive in, figure out where we're at, what we're going. I'll get you started with a picture, but you know how this works. We'll go through the plot chronologically and you can talk about whatever you want. But if this helps, I'll throw it up there for you. Probably should throw it up. So we start off this episode where we left off last time. They've got one prisoner from that assassin group that we now know who they are, and they bring him in. And Josh, what do you got? What did you think of how they started this?
Well, I love the opening shot. I love all of the really wide, kind of epic landscape shots that we see in the series, even in the first episode. I really love the shot of Jabba's palace going in, and I enjoyed the setup of it, and it was humorous. That they also poked fun at the lack of a HasLab Rancor. But yeah, no, it was a fun moment. It was a good callback to Return of the Jedi, and seeing the fear on the guy's face after trying to act so hard with the blade to his throat. Yeah, it was a good moment. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I did not totally hate it. Of course, again, the Gamorreans looked weird to me, but I don't want to get back into that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, we'll forge new territory that people can be upset with you. How about that, Josh?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Really quick before we go over to you, Bailey, I was just watching Papa
Hey,
Gordon.
Papa.
Now he's over here watching us, and you mentioned it really quick there, Josh, and I mentioned it on Papa Gord's stream. Fennic and Boba, they tried to get a Rancor. They just couldn't get enough backers, right? Yes. Yeah. Nice. Bailey, we kind of pick right up where we left off. I mean, it doesn't even look like there's much of a time frame in between. Just enough time for him to get out of the back to tank. What do you think of how they started it, and what do you think of what's going on here?
I mean, honestly, I would say that the whole beginning sequence where we were still in the present was like my favorite part. I'm interested to know what's going on in the present. The past, not as much. I understand, and we'll get into it later, but I wish it went longer. We didn't stay in the present very long. The episode was longer, but I would say maybe we were in the present 10 minutes max. And we're progressing a little bit, in terms of plot, but I just wish we spent more time. I really enjoyed the opening part. I just wish we saw more.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you guys about that. That seems reasonable to me, to be perfectly frank with you. Really quick, Subconscious Patrick. Boba Fett cinematic angles and how they really show off all of its artwork and animation as show, unlike so many other shows that don't display it and use the other ones. Josh, you got a thought on that? He was kind of commenting on what you said.
Well, I appreciate the big wide shots and the visual effects and the aesthetic that they're trying to create, and the scale of it. But I find myself really losing it when it gets to the interior shots and the close-up moments. It begins to lose a lot of that for me. I begin to feel like it's kind of cheap looking to a certain extent, and everything is too clean. I know this is supposed to be a little bit more upscale area of Tatooine that they're in, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't look lived in. That's the problem. It all looks fresh and new, like they pulled it right off the rack and in the costume room, and then just hopped on set. And I don't know. It kind of lacks the appeal that the originals had, and frankly, all of the cinematic stuff has. It's Star Wars. It needs to look lived in. It shouldn't be so clean, like a bunch of cosplayers running around making a fan film. And that's where it kind of loses it for me. I do feel like, and again, like I said in the first episode, I'm not a huge fan of Robert Rodriguez. I appreciate his desire to call back to films that inspired him growing up and whatnot, but if it's going to detract from the storytelling, then there's no place for it. And I feel like the director in this one, I forget their name, but they it wasn't Robert Rodriguez in this one,
Right.
and they I feel like the directing was better in this episode. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. Visually, it has its moments, but overall, I'm still somewhat disappointed with the production on the show.
Yeah, they a lot of people were saying maybe it's because they're using the what's that circular thing? The I forgot the name for it. Everybody's going to tell me in a minute.
I mean, in the screen is fine. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
neat. It's new technology. It worked really well on Mandalorian, and it works fine at times in this. My issue is that, and I was going off about this earlier today, is that why is Marvel getting the movie treatment and Star Wars isn't? If it's an issue of Marvel makes more money, well, that's their own fault, because they purchased Star Wars and then ran it down the toilet, and then they're wondering why it is that it's not making the money that Marvel is, and then they're going to cheapen it when they finally actually have something that's worth telling. So yeah, I'm a little bit frustrated with the overall production quality on it. That's just me. It comes off silly and cheap, and that's frankly disrespectful to the property.
And yeah, and so we talked about this last time. Something doesn't look right to me, but the point I was going to make is the volume. They used that volume, but it worked fine on Mandalorian. So something's off here, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Bailey, before I move on, any thoughts on the, since we're talking about the look and the cinematics of the show? Or
not really, no. To be honest with you.
No, it's okay. I remember last episode you were like, it looks okay to me, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, I think you're seeing, once again, we talked about that generational difference. Josh and I are used to seeing everything in like 12 frames per second grainy. So
I mean, like, I think there's like a place for it. So like, for example, like with the animation, I think cleaner is better. Like the new technology for that is fantastic, because the animation, I mean, I think the purpose is to make it look as realistic as possible. So like the season 7 of Clone Wars, that's beautiful. Like I wish the whole show was done in that. So I think there's a place for it, but I understand where you guys are coming from too, is even though I'm not looking at it like, oh yeah, this is off to me. Like I get where you guys are coming from, is, it maybe should have a more lived in feel. So yeah.
And it just doesn't have a cinematic look to me either.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look film quality. Whereas with the Marvel series, I can see them on the big screen. All of them to me have been very high quality, and to me this looks like a TV show. And I don't want it to look like a TV show. I want it to look like a movie if it's live action.
Right. I think a good comparison would be like, it's very hard for me to look at like Rebels most of the time. Like that looks off to me when I'm used to like Clone Wars. So I totally get what you guys are saying.
Those are different styles of animation, right, Bailey? Remind me.
Right. But it's still like, you look at it and you're like, this is like goofy.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's
Star
what I'm
Wars?
saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just to be fair, I haven't shown any of his comments yet, but David thought that the Gamorreans looked better. He's liked everything he's seen, and he says it looks exactly. So there are people out there that they are still pleasing, and there's David. That's a valid point as well. Good for you.
See, I was disappointed with the Gamorreans in Mandalorian as well. I thought they looked weird.
Yeah,
they're sitting there boxing each other.
We're used to much fatter ones. Is the problem.
Well,
so yeah,
these guys have definitely lost some weight.
I got
much
fat.
more health conscious.
Right. I got fat. The Gamorreans got thin. I don't know what's going on in the world right now. So, okay. So there's, you guys, we talked about this pre-show. There's one or two things that just really made me do this when I saw it. Okay. And I don't know what it is with this scene. Someone described it as looking like an SNL skit. But Josh, let's get back to you. The heck, for reals? Tell me, maybe you like it. I don't know. Tell me, what do you think is going on here, and what you thought of it?
Well, it's like, first of all, this guy looks like Diet Pedro Pascal. Like he's absolutely with a mullet, which is hilarious. Like I literally had to do a double take. I was like, oh my God, is that Mando? But maybe this is his side job or something. He's gonna earn some credits.
Bounty hunts hard.
But no, it came off silly. The whole him going back and forth and then them barging in, it just all came off very cliche. There were a lot of very cliche moments in this episode. And again, I liked the episode better than the first one, but that had more to do with it had more substance. And I also feel that, frankly, the first two should have been released at the same time. I feel like this one, to a certain extent, does improve upon the first episode. Watching them back to back feels like more of a complete thought that's come to some sort of a finale at the end, whereas the first episode just kind of sort of like they stopped mid sentence.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay.
Fair enough. Bailey?
But yeah, this scene was silly. Yeah.
Bailey, how are you feeling about when you saw this?
I was annoyed. And I'm noticing this a lot in like other, I don't know if it's just Star Wars per se, but I feel that everyone's trying to be like Marvel in a sense. And like, you have to have like this comedic moment. Like, it's not natural. Like, we have to have an SNL skit in between. We can't just have straight up, like, if something hilarious happens, it's natural. I don't know. This felt like, and I've seen it in the comments too, like, I feel like that just completely kills, like we had a very serious mood going in, and it's like, oh yes, Boba's finally taking charge. Oh, like the whole Rancor thing was funny. And it didn't take away from,
but it was more organic humor.
Right.
That's the humor of Star Wars. It feels natural. Organic. Like, I mean, all of them are hilarious at times. Even the original trilogy. There's definitely humor in Star Wars, but it's not forced. It's not a set up joke.
Right.
Like that's the whole purpose of the scene is to be funny.
Right.
No, it's just somebody says something or does something or something happens that it's like, oh, that's kind of funny. And that's part of what makes it relatable as human beings. But yeah, that it's silly. And again, with the whole Marvel comparison I was making earlier, that's definitely more about the production. There's a balance. I don't want it to be like Marvel. I just want it to be produced as well. But as far as like that humor, and that's the same kind of humor that was in particularly in the Rise of Skywalker that and in The Last Jedi that I just felt was very out of place in the world of Star Wars. And it's unfortunate.
JT, I'm loving this series format. I got an Office Space vibe off of it. You know what I'm saying? I was watching like, this doesn't fit. This is Boba Fett and Fennic Shan. Right. Why are they even talking to this guy? Excuse me. Right? Pow! I'm going in the, that's what I'm saying.
2 seconds, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Hey, Bailey, you know my favorite part of this show is thus far. Do you remember when Josh wasn't going to have anything to say? Love you, Josh.
I'm going to start keeping my answers short.
No,
anyway.
No, I love it. I love it. I was worried I was going to have to drag you out. I don't even know.
Continue.
I'm doing a lot of this now.
I'm waiting on you, Paul.
I love it. Oh, man. Oh, that was awesome. Okay. So they deal with Office Space Bob here. And I actually kind of like the Major Domo this time because he's like, whoa, hey, excuse me. We get into the office. Bailey, let's start with you this time because I know if Josh gets really chomping at the bit, he'll kind of jump in and it'll be organic. From a writer's perspective, your perspective, which I don't even need to say anymore. Sorry. What did you think of this scene? Number one. And number two, is the mayor lying? Did he not send this assassin, or do you think he did? What do you got?
It's hard to say because, kind of like when we talked about in the last episode, like everyone on Tatooine could be potentially shady. He could totally be lying. He could be, and there are people out there, and you would know this from what you've done for a career, there could be people who are really good at lying. So it's hard to say. Tatooine is very much a every man for themselves, who, survival of the fittest. So I could see it going either way. As far as like the writing goes, this is why I'm saying like I wish we'd stay in the present more, because I feel like I don't have enough information to go off of. Like this was literally kind of like with all the same meet and greets, if you will. And the first one it was very much a hi, bye, here's some advice. Okay, that's it. That's all I know of this character. So I just really wish we stayed in the present longer.
Yeah, fair enough. So, Gilster, Boba Fett making copies over at the copy machine. Got Fennic Shan looking good, making copies. That's exactly who that guy was, Gilster. I agree. Josh, this scene left me wanting a whole lot more and a lot of answers. How did you feel about it?
Actually, from a writing standpoint, I thought it was one of the most valuable scenes that we've had yet. There was a lot going on that was in the subtext of what was happening in the scene. I feel like I'm very intrigued by the mayor character. I actually very much enjoyed how they depicted him, the way that he looked, the voice modulator, everything about that I thought was really cool. I definitely feel like he is a pretty smart guy and knows what's going on. I don't think he's lying. I don't think he sent those guys. I think he has plans to send other guys at some point, but I don't think he would have been that quick or direct with it after seeing the character. I feel like he'd be much more into kind of maneuvering a way into stabbing him in the back. He's a politician. I really enjoyed that. And he raised a very big question. Who did send them? And I think that's going to be kind of the big question going forward, at least for a few episodes, and could end up leading us to sort of the big threat of the whole season or series. So who knows? It may turn out to have been Crimson Dawn or someone like that.
Yeah.
I very much appreciated the scene.
I agree. I think just like Bailey said, I think this was one of the best scenes. It's the one that's advanced the plot the most so far, right Bailey?
Right. Yeah. I did not dislike this scene by any means. No, I'm just saying I wish I had more.
Oh, I agree.
Stuff like this.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It was a taste of what I want to see in the series.
And when it was done, I was like, whoa. Like, like really?
Come back.
So I think this is great. I just want more. Like, yeah.
There was definitely a lot to unpack there, and I think the mayor knows who sent them.
Oh yeah,
but I don't think it was him. And I think he may possibly be working with them to a certain extent, which is why he killed the witness. Because you notice that was the first thing he did was kill the witness. So yeah, there's definitely a lot going on in that scene. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, 2 observations really fast, and then we'll move on to the next scene. If you can do this with your hand and people kill people, you got some power and you're more than just a mayor, right, guys?
For sure.
And then as you mentioned it, Josh, this was one of my favorite lines. If I serve at your will, as you say, you know what I mean? As he walked out, he's like, so if I only serve at your will, then you'll already know, type of thing, like bring it. So this is one of the high points for the episode with me that I wanted to talk about and I'm pretty excited about. So Josh, we're going to start with you on this one, if you don't mind, sir.
Okay.
Goes outside because we hear boom, boom, boom. And predictable or not, I knew who was coming. I knew it. I'm surprised we haven't seen him until now. But then we get these guys. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. Not that. It's that, Bailey.
There we go.
How many episodes have I used this stupid live stream thing? I still can't get it right. Josh, we go outside and we got this, and then we got another one we're going to talk about in a second here. But this reveal, what's up? Did you like it? How did it make you feel? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I feel really bad for the guys carrying them. Come on, they have, repulsor lifts and stuff in this world. Like they can get some sort of a hover thing to carry. I mean, I guess it's to show power. Hey, Chris. It's, I thought it was a cool scene, and I liked the way that they did the huts and they did look a little cartoony, but overall I was decent. I was pleased with the effects. It was definitely far better than the Jabba scene in A New Hope. So it was a good scene. It was a nice little standoff between Boba and them, and it's obviously going to be a precursor to some fun stuff later on down the road, because they are definitely going to come back in force, and it's going to be interesting to see how Boba handles it.
I agree. Bailey, we got 2 new huts on the scene we've never heard of before. Side note, we still don't know what happened to Jabba's son, as I understand it. But what did you think of seeing these 2, Bailey? What about this scene?
Again, this was just another moment where I'm like, yes, we're getting more plot progression. Yes, I want to stay in the present. Yes. And again, it just kind of like with the mayor, it was very brief. It was good. I enjoyed it, but I want more. Keep it up. Like I want to see more of this. And that's what I was kind of hoping for in the first one, is I want to know like who the threats are. And like we had an idea, but now they're starting to come into the light a little bit more in this one. And I think that's great. And to me, it makes sense. If you kill a hut, I feel like more would come eventually. This is great.
Well, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but Fennic even said we have to have permission to kill them. So there's obviously someone like there's like a
There's
guild
a hierarchy
or
to
a
it.
hierarchy or something. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. They don't just get to start blasting. And did you guys know? I couldn't figure out what he was doing, and then I studied it a little bit later. He's using that hamster to mop sweat. Did you guys notice that?
No.
And if you look at if you look at one scene, the hamster's going like this on his hand, trying to get him to let go of, and he throws him. I was like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. So this was an excellent reveal. I agree with you guys. I'm so glad. And I noticed that they both had different chin jewelry as well, which is really cool. Attention to detail. And then just when you think this that's what a cool scene. Wow. We're winding down. Son of a gun. If they don't do this, Bailey, we got another, what do you call him? A Wookiee. We got another Wookiee on the scene. What'd you think of this?
I was like, literally my exact thought. Okay. Okay. Like, all right, we have a Wookiee who may or may not know Boba. There may or may not be a history there. He may or may not be a threat. I don't know, because we go into a flashback like 2 minutes later. So
Right.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Josh, do you? So we talked a little bit before we went on. This guy has a little bit of a backstory. Yeah. Oh, well, hell, David puts it. He's actually pretty famous. So I know that I got a kick out of just seeing him, but I didn't know who he was until I did the research. Bailey, you got to. Okay, let's see what we got here. Josh, what did you think when you saw it? Do you know anything about his backstory, or have you heard of this guy? Or
I actually don't. I'm so behind on reading a lot of the comics and the books right now. I have stacks of them, but I haven't read any of them. So I wasn't particularly familiar with him. I felt like I knew him from something, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I just thought, damn, that's a huge Wookiee. He was pretty cool looking. He looked really angry. Definitely seemed to have some beef there, but again, it was just like a little tease, and then he went on about his way. So I'm assuming he'll pop up later. So we'll hopefully get more of that.
So this is why we like JT, you guys. Nope, that's not it. This is why we like JT. It wasn't a Wookiee. It was a stretched Ewok. He kind of looks like Uncle somebody from the Ewoks, doesn't he? And well, as you've seen in the comments, he worked with Dr. Afra for a little while. G-Force talks about his name is
where I saw him.
Yeah, Curzon Stan. They actually know each other. And when he looked at him in that picture I showed you, I was like, he's looking at him like he knows him or something. Apparently there was a falling out over some jobs or something like that. Yeah, Boba's worked with the Wookiee. I'd heard at one time Vader had hired both and for a job or something like that. So David puts his name in. He was used by Vader as well. Black Curzon Stan. I'm just going to call him Chrysanthemum. Black Chrysanthemum for the rest of the stream. You guys cool with that?
I'm good with
that works.
All right, because that's what I'm going to remember. I christen him Black Chrysanthemum. And Rick over at Left Coast, yes, I stole that from you. I saw it on Papa Gord's stream. So, all righty. You know what? And then what happened?
Well, he was still cool. I mean,
he was,
it was a wicked looking character.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was.
But
At first, I thought it might be Grandpa Itchy from the holiday special. I was disappointed.
I've never seen the holiday special.
Oh, it's the best thing Star Wars ever.
Yeah. I want, I don't even collect Black Series. I just want a Black Series B Arthur figure, and I'm good.
Absolutely.
I hear she's in it. I've seen clips. I don't know, but I want that. So, and
who hasn't fought Obi-Wan? Who hasn't?
Bailey, that's a good point. You're a super Obi-Wan fan. Who the hell hasn't he run across at this point, right?
Guess not. Apparently this guy too. I'm behind in my lore too. Y'all can just educate us, I guess.
Oh yeah.
We're definitely going to get a figure for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because they've already got the Chewbacca. You throw a couple of big plates on his shoulders and paint him black and stuff. Yeah, good to go. Oh, I bought. Oh yeah, G-Force. Yeah, let me hide that. G-Force is going to get me banned up in this piece. Okay. So we're transitioning here, as Bailey likes to put it, the back to tank of remembrance then comes in. But let's just talk about this beginning sequence that we got really quick. Josh, is this what you were hoping for when you were thinking of what was going to go on in the book of Boba Fett? Are they missing the mark so far with just this frontal stuff? What do you think?
Yeah, as far as like the first half of the episode or whatever?
Yeah, like the stuff that's in the present and the stuff that's in the present.
No, I mean, I enjoy what they're building towards in the present. I mean, it's a little predictable. It's a little cliche and cheesy at times, but I get what they're doing, and I'm intrigued by it. I'm okay with the stuff in the past. There's definitely some backstory that needs to be told, and they needed to have wrapped up the whole Tusken backstory in really one episode. Unless it's going to be something much bigger later. What I'd like to know is, why do they keep showing these shots of him as a boy? Obviously, there's some issue with Django that is going to come out at some point, and I'm wanting to see more of those flashbacks. I want to see more of that history and how that's affecting him, because obviously it is. So why do his flashbacks always begin at that point and then skip to later? There's some space to fill in there. I'm not entirely done with the flashbacks. I feel like there is a place for them, and I actually preferred the way that they did it in this episode, by having kind of a big chunk of present and then a chunk of backstory, as opposed to skipping back and forth, because pretty much as soon as you would get into whatever was going on, you would be into something else, and it just made the whole first episode a little jerky to a certain extent. But I don't know. I enjoyed the backstory, and I was okay with some of the stuff that went on with the Tuskens.
Oh, good.
You know, it was silly, and it was
they're still wearing black.
They are. It looks cool. It just doesn't make any damn sense in the desert.
I just had to stir him back up again.
Yeah,
Bailey.
I mean, come on.
People wear
Boba
black
in
here.
black.
Look, we're both wearing black.
Actually, in my defense, this is a deep blue. It's called LAPD blue. But
on. Don't be that person, Paul.
I know, right? She said, "Don't be that person." I'm getting scolded. Oh my God, yeah. No doubt. You know what? And Josh, I agree with you. I wish I had something to argue with you about on that, but to make this spicy, but I don't. But Bailey, over to you. I mean, I'm being dead serious.
You can try.
Yeah, I know. Bailey, the first half of this episode, or the first quarter, and the first and the current pieces from last episode, because they interspersed them. So far, if that was just what we had seen, would you be satisfied with how the Book of Boba Fett is going, and how would they be doing?
Yeah, I think I would enjoy. I mean, let's see, it's hard to word this, because I am with Josh, and there are a purpose to flashbacks. Like, clearly, like we there's some gaps to fill. I just wish, how they did it was smoother. I agree with Josh, like that the whole back and forth pacing in the first one was jarring. But again, the present stuff was like that's what I wanted more of. So I think, like if we've just seen the present and we saw more of what's going on now, like what's going to impact Boba now and what will impact him in the future, that would be great. I just, my issue is that I think we're just spending way too much time in the past for too long, too early. And I'm with Josh too, is like, why are you showing me flashbacks of him as a child when we're not going to even expand on that? Like, they're literal flashes, like images. I wouldn't even call them flashbacks, they're images. And then jump to the whatever's going on with the Tusken Raiders. Like, that's annoying to me. It's like, pick one. Like, if I need a, if we're going in the past, please pick one memory. And if you're going to show me him as a child, expand on that. And why does that pertain to what's going on in the present? So, like, if we do need the flashbacks, I just wish they, I don't know, did it differently. Like, 2/3 of the episode should not be a flashback. A drawn out one, in my opinion. So yeah.
That's, so that brings up a question. Josh, I'll ask you this first, and then Bailey, I'll go over to you. If they had just decided to do the first 2 episodes of all the Tusken stuff in the back, and then finished it up with him seeing, Din Djarin or whatever, and then jumping ahead to now, would that have been better, or do you like this? Is this back and forth thing that they're doing for a reason, Josh?
Well, I'm assuming there's a reason behind it. I feel like, I guess they have to get certain things out before they get to their relevance later, obviously. But to me, I would have preferred to have gotten just flashes, snippets here and there of things that maybe might be relevant to what's going on in the moment. and then later down the road, maybe have an entire episode or two that focus on piecing all of those little snippets together, as opposed to big chunks at a time. So,
Bailey, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm with Josh on that. And to your question, would I have liked it better if they did it? I think sequentially, that might have made more sense. If we're talking like this is the book of Boba Fett, why not start here, finish that part, then go to this part, then go to this part? I think that would make sense. But again, I have to go with Josh. I mean, clearly there's a reason for everything. We are not in the know. So there's a reason for all this. And yes, I see y'all in the comments. I'll have you know, I am the most patient person you will ever met. Okay, I'm a teacher. I know patience. We are critiquing this episode, and not once has anyone said, I'm sorry, but like I'm seeing this way too often in the shows. We're critiquing un episode, what we think of this episode. We are not demolishing the whole series. We are not demolishing Star Wars. I know there is more to come. So I'm just saying, I think we're being very civil here.
I think you are too, Bailey.
We're allowed to say that I want more of this. That's a good sign. I want more of this.
Yeah.
I'm not being impatient. I'm just saying this is what I want to see more in the future. I know there is more to come, but I'm sorry. I just had to say it. I'm seeing it a lot in these shows. It's saw it a lot in Bad Batch. Don't come for me when it comes to patience, because then you're going to see Miss Taylor, and you don't want to see that persona. You do not. Let me tell you, my kids, they don't come back right if I have to put the hammer.
We're all going to get put in timeout.
Yeah, just somebody's
I'm just saying. I know. You push my buttons, and you're going to see it.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
that's what I'm talking about. Get it, Bailey.
Question.
Hey, move over to the comments and click X. Okay. Just kidding. Yeah, some of that. What do you guys think about that?
I am a Jedi Knight, not a Padawan.
What's what now, mother truck? All right. Thank you, Bailey. I appreciate that. I respect everything you have to say. That's why we're here. And I will tell you, and in all seriousness, we talked about this before we got on. Oops, I keep hitting my mic. For some strange reason, I saw it with Mandalorian a little bit. I saw it a little bit more with Bad Batch, not specific to us, but in general. But I am seeing it 10 times worse with this book of Boba Fett. People are way over here, or they're way over here, and they've dug their parapets, and they're shooting flaming balls at each other. And I just don't think that's necessary. It's a TV show.
No.
We're here.
Why is it wrong for me to say that I like this? I wish I could have seen this. And what would Yoda say? I think it doesn't patience work both ways. Like, I'm just saying.
This is the same Yoda who just cut two guys' head off at a moment's notice. So when it's time to cut some heads, it's time to cut some heads. So
it's okay. This is why we're here. Josh and I are here to do this, to think like, if we change this and this, that's what we're here for. And Josh has not said he hates this show. Neither have I. We know more is to come. So I'm sorry. I just had to say that because it's like, I'm seeing it. I've seen it in Bad Batch. It's driving me nuts a little bit. So, and it's a Thursday night, so I've had a day of students too. So careful.
All right. We're gonna transition. Bailey, I agree with everything you just said. Josh, I've agreed with everything you said thus far too, as far as technicality. But we had a couple of people jump in, and I just want to say hi to Steve-O really fast. Steve-O. Quick question, Rick. I think the present is 5 years old. He's being sarcastic with me. Never mind. I know, Rick. Good point. Peter McKinnon. Yeah. It's an interesting way they're doing it. That's for sure. It's JT. It's really, really, really dark blue, Bailey. Oh, let me see who else.
I've seen that shirt on you in person, and it still looks black.
What happened to teams? No teams? We're not on the same team. No, I'm just kidding.
I said what I said.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah. That's my brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling Alan, come to school with me. And if Matt's on, my coworker, I'm sure he can attest to that too.
Oh my goodness. So, you know, some of these are really long, but Bailey, there's some people out there that are agreeing with you for sure. Okay. And so I don't, it's tough. Here's the other thing we forget. We do this because we're comfortable doing it, but we forget how hard it was to get on camera in front of a live group with no practice and be honest about what you feel about a TV show, because it really opens you up. And I'm proud of both. It sounds cheesy, but I'm proud of both of you. And I'm still proud of Brandon from last time for being willing to do it. Yeah. So don't ever go soft on me, you guys. Okay.
There's Matt. I see him now.
Yeah. Oh boy. There's Matthew. Yeah. Spoiler alert, Matt works with Bailey at the school. Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on. Let's get it. So we go into the back to tank of remembrance, and Josh, we're going to go with you so Bailey can get a drink of water, rest up them vocal cords for a second here.
I'm fine.
I know you are. So what I mentioned at the beginning of this was I thought in my head before they did any of this stuff that Boba Fett was kind of like the outlaw Josie Wells, quiet, killer, calm, no humor, but fun to watch for those of you who are Clint Eastwood fans. And then we get to this. And we're kind of last samuraiing it. Would you agree with me on that, Josh?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a fish out of water, dances with wolves story. I mean, it's about this guy that's kind of being brought into the fold, and they're teaching him their ways, and I can appreciate it. I didn't really have any problem with it. It was a little montage heavy. Hey, Michelle. Yeah, it's just I thought that it was. I like seeing. I mean, I'm a big fan of Dances with Wolves, so I really like kind of seeing him be brought into the tribe and being taught their ways and learning more about the Tusken Raiders. There are a few things that go on that make me do feel like it kind of detracts from what they've accomplished as far as building them up as a little bit more sophisticated society of people. But overall, I thought it was pretty good.
Agree. Really quick, there's the ladies from Force of Light Entertainment. They're having the same issues we are. I was watching a little bit of them. I think it was either this morning or yesterday, because they're underwhelmed as well. And I was like, it's good to have other people who kind of agree with us. And they get on their show and say it, it takes a lot of bravery. Bailey, did you? I don't want to assume, but so I'm not trying to insult you. But have you seen Last Samurai, The Outlaw Josie Wells, and Dances with Wolves?
I have not, but I know that Star Wars takes a lot of inspiration from it. Like I can tell like when those references are used, but I've never like seen the actual material itself. No.
That's not a problem. So I know where we stand on that. Yeah. So without having seen that, but understanding the material and what the essence of it is, what did you get from this scene right here? Are you happy that they're kind of doing this, bringing the insider type of thing?
Oh yeah, I thought this was great because obviously we know Boba has had to have earned some respect just because of the way we saw him in Mando. Like, he's got like the black and he's got, the gapping stick. And so I he has to earn that. Clearly in what we know of the Tuskens is you really earn your place. So yeah, no, I thought that was great.
Cool. And I do get a kick out of the fact that the main protagonist is the best way to describe it it's a female Tusken. Yeah. But she's wearing, like all of these Tuskens, male or female, wear the same male stuff as opposed to what we saw in, was it Revenge of the Sith, Bailey?
Was it? Did we see?
Yeah, because Anakin cuts them all
Attack
up.
of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. I'm like, not Revenge. I'm like, I guess I got to watch that again. But no, I don't think so. To be fair, that scene was very quick, but I don't recall, any fancy headdress. I think the Tuskens were just different in general back then. Like I noticed like how we characterize them now is different. So yeah, I don't think there was a lot of thought into that way back then.
Okay. Yeah, because even the action figure, it has like this really long ornate headdress thing with no tusk. Am I right, Josh? You've seen that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like Peter's saying there, it's a different tribe. Like they were explaining to Boba, there are many tribes and they kind of try to stay in hiding and keep themselves away from the people that are on Tatooine. But I do feel like, when he brings the speeder bikes to them, it felt like the way that they just ran up to them and started beating on them like just mindless idiots. I felt like that really detracted from the way that they're trying to build them up as a little bit more civilized, organized group of people. I felt like they just looked like idiots then. And they obviously know technology. I frankly don't believe that he would have to teach them how to ride a speeder bike. How long have people lived on Tatooine with technology and used it against them? They had to have learned something. I don't feel that they would have been that completely ignorant to it.
Fair enough.
They might not have been able to hop on and immediately ride, but
Right.
I don't think they would have been like completely blind. Like, what is this? You know, like, no, that just seemed a little extreme to me. And again, detracted from what they were trying to do and had been doing since Mandalorian. Like the first time that he signs with them, I thought that was just a wonderful moment because it showed that they do have a culture and they have an ability to communicate, and they do, like, he traded with them and they took technology from him. So why do they suddenly not respect the technology or seem to know what the heck it is?
Yeah. That was the part that was very incongruous to me. He shows up clearly trying to help them and they immediately do the Luke speeder thing. I didn't get that either. Bailey, tell me what's going on down here. This is something you know about.
Yeah, David, I'm with you. I think it's a nod as well. So in the Kenobi book, it's Legends now. But the main, from what I understand, like the antagonist, the leader of the Tuskens was a female. And that was interesting to read because, I was shocked. For a while, you don't know, like the way it was written. I don't think we knew immediately as a female, but I think you're right, David. The Obi-Wan, the main antagonist was a female Tusken, like the outfit, the way we see her in the show is very similar to how they described her in the book. So yeah, I'm with you, David. I think that's true.
Oh, that's really cool. I like so each of us comes from a different aspect of Star Wars, and each of us has, like you said before, Bailey, our different niche. It's neat to see each of us catch different stuff.
Yeah.
Like this right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then I'm going to throw one of my catches in. This is, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, Tosche Station after all. We talked about it. I think it was the first episode, you guys. There was some teaser footage where Boba busts into what looks like a room or a bar, and there was cut footage from A New Hope where Luke actually makes it to Tosche Station and he's hanging out with his friends. And Josh, we're going to go back up to you really fast, if you don't mind, sir. Now we know why the young Tusken boy dragged him out to the middle of the desert for no apparent reason. Plot device. What you got on this? What did you think of this, man?
I thought it was a cool scene. I mean, it was pretty Wild West, but it was also a little over the top with the whole Sons of Anarchy biker gang type group that rides up in there and starts harassing everyone in the bar. It was extremely cliche, but it was still pretty cool. It was, fun nods to what we didn't get before, the stuff we've only seen in scrapped footage that we see on YouTube. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So Mr. B makes a point we're going to get to. Bailey referenced the first picture. Oh, by the way, the Arabesh underneath on the back of their jackets says Tatooine. I mean, they just straight ripped from Sons of Anarchy biker gangs. It's hilarious.
I love that.
But I thought I got a kick out. I thought it was kind of cute. But with this picture here, Bailey, which is an old 8-bit video game, and the one I just showed you, what did you think of this whole Boba showing up and dealing with the biker gang thing?
I loved it. I mean, guys, Star Wars just continues to prove that it's a Western in space at times, and this felt very that. The only thing that was missing, and we talked a little bit before the show, is we just didn't have the swinging doors, Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, it was entertaining. And again, like, this is what I wanted. Like, I was kind of, like, questioning Boba's ability to be a badass in the first one, and there's like, oh, okay, here we go. Like, he's able to, kick ass. So I thought this was great. This is what I wanted to see.
No, It was a little insensitive to alien races, though, the way that apparently the only calm people at Tosche Station are the humans. And then the aliens are the ruffians that come in, and then
we're going down a rabbit hole.
We need the ball-headed white guy with his walking tall stick to come out and just start wailing on them,
Did you get rid of him?
That's for for you, Rick. That's for you, buddy.
Just
oh
saying.
my god. Yeah.
But it was still a cool scene.
Ooh.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not notice that.
Oh. So we're let me fix some things here. I've screwed it up now. Well,
Hi.
sorry, Bailey. Hi. How's it going, Bailey? hey. Let me move you guys around. Yeah, hello.
There we go.
We're going to answer up some questions really fast. So somebody asked, were those Luke's friends? And then down here, I like Matt's collection because let me show you guys something. Cami and Fixer were in A New Hope until they got cut, obviously. And if we go, I'll show you. This is, of course, Fixer, and that's been confirmed that is, in fact, Fixer. And then we come over here really fast, and this is, in fact, Cami, who was, these aren't obviously the same actors because those actors will, but they were in A New Hope at the scene that got cut. They're talking with Luke and everything. And I thought that was really cool that they did that. And it has been confirmed that this is in fact Tashi Station online and everything. And they're Cami and Fixer. For me, exactly, Crazy 8. For me, I got a kick out of this kind of stuff, where they're kind of going back and showing us some cool stuff. Now, Matthew, you guys up there, correct me if I'm wrong. He broke that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's why I left it. Bailey?
I mean, to be fair, I wasn't paying attention to the rifle, but I guess, people are saying it broke, but no, I didn't notice that, Matt.
Yeah, he broke it in
Sometimes
half and just threw it down. And...
Oh.
Yeah.
See, sometimes I miss very important stuff, apparently.
You know what? And you know what helps me is because I just watched it the first time just for fun. And then I go back and I'm watching very closely so I can get pictures and get topics. And it was the second time when I realized, I thought he had to drop it when I realized he had broken it. So yeah, there you go. Rick, super chat. That's super chat for you. I'm never going to monetize this station because then I'll feel like I have to do something. So let's go on down here. Yeah, they remind Space Game reminding the villains from Ewok's Battle for Endor. Is that a movie or is that a video game?
No, they definitely did. It's a movie, a made for TV movie that they did.
Oh, okay. Still hang out at the same bar. Yep. Oh, it's one of those. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Oh, let's make sure we don't miss anything.
Yeah, how many years have they been chilling at that bar?
Right. Yeah. Well, let's see. A New Hope, and then all the way through, and then 10 years?
They just been getting lit through the entire galactic civil war.
And now it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So this Nikto biker gang is actually doing them a favor because he stole his drink. He's like, you need to get up and get in the game, Fixer. Townies. I love it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, so yeah, I got a kick out of this. But now we know. You remember I asked you guys, where's this Tusken kid going? Oh, he's setting up that part of the plot for the next scene, next episode. Got it. Okay, got it. So Josh, to your point, he grabs up a bunch of the swoop bikes. But actually, you know what, Bailey, let's go over to you. I don't think I've started with you recently. He grabs up the swoop bikes and they should have just put some Talking Heads music in the background or something because we got the 80s-ish montage of all time. Did we not? What did you think of this?
This annoyed me just as much as the SNL skit from
earlier.
Yeah, because again, it's like, I don't know. It's not organic, as Josh would say. I didn't need this. Just show me real quick him teaching them how to get on the bike. I didn't need that. I just don't. I don't.
It was like watching Cool Runnings. It was like the Jamaican bobsled team. It's like they have no clue what they're seeing in front of them. And again, I think that's impossible.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Bailey, you mentioned the word, Josh, you talked about it earlier. Humor in Star Wars, up until pretty recently, sequels-ish, has been very organic. You know what I mean? Like Han Solo listening to C-3PO and going, of course I needs that. And then walking over going, hey, Chewie. That's funny. This seems a little forced. Josh, did it feel forced to you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was all very set up. Yeah, definitely forced.
Bailey?
Oh, yeah. And believe me, and Matthew would agree, if we started talking to our students like that, they'd be like, what's wrong with you? Just like, why are you talking to me like this? No, this was very forced.
Yeah.
So Bailey, stick with that. You talking about if we talk to your student, well, what's wrong with you? What are we doing? This is the most deadly bounty hunter on the planet. Bailey, help me out here.
Yeah, no. No.
He's got great teeth, though.
Yeah, he does. Wow.
Yeah, you've got very white teeth for someone who's probably hasn't brushed his teeth in days. Yeah. This one, Matthew, like this one in particular.
So this reminded me of John J. Dunbar from Dances with Wolves. Josh, he gets silly at times when he's trying to communicate with them. Does this fit? Do you think it's a nice, fun little nod to show that Boba Fett is still a human, or did this upset you?
It fits to a certain extent, but it did seem out of character for him. And again, I felt like it detracted from what they were trying to accomplish with the Tuskens. I think it would have been better for him to have maybe acted that way, and then for them to just hopped on them and started speeding around like it was nothing. And then been like, yeah, you're an idiot, Boba. Like, really? Like that would have been better and frankly funnier. So.
Right. Yeah.
There's talking, more doing.
Oh, Bailey, show me. Don't tell me.
Exactly. Sometimes that's what Josh is describing. Sometimes it's like, let me just show you. And we do that in teaching too. Sometimes it's just easier for me to just do it and they follow. So, yeah. Yeah.
This was the most uncomfortable part of this episode for me, even the end of it. This is not the Boba Fett that I grew up with. And I realized that Dave Filoni and, his crew, Jon Favreau, they don't have to go with what I thought of this guy in my head. But I don't think it's unreasonable to think that this guy should act a little bit more like Clint Eastwood and a lot less like John J. Dunbar. Am I out of my mind, Josh?
No, definitely not. But I feel like they're trying to make him different from the Mandalorian. I feel like they made Din Djarin such a strong silent type that they want Boba to be something that, frankly, he really wasn't. I mean, it was the fact that he was just cool and calm, and the few things he said were basically talking trash to Darth Vader of all people. That's what made him cool. And now he's just all kind of goofy and talking it up with everyone. It did come off a little bit campy and detracted from him.
Bailey, Josh brings up an excellent point. And now I'm almost a little embarrassed because the character I'm describing is Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. Calm, cool, collected. Do you think they're deliberately trying to get away from the Mandalorian a little bit, or are they just having fun? Or what do you think from a writing perspective, Bailey?
I mean, it's definitely possible. I can see that, considering how Mandalorian was the last live action show that we saw, and they want Boba to stand out. I could totally see that, and because of how little we saw, Boba before, they really could play with his character more. So yeah, they could totally, and that's not uncommon in Star Wars to change a character from one personality to another.
Initially, Mandalorian was pitched as a Boba Fett series to begin with, so and I feel like they played him like Boba Fett, and then when they got the chance to introduce Boba Fett and then have a spin-off series, instead of them doing more of what they wanted to do with Boba Fett to begin with, because they'd already done it with Din Djarin, they felt the need to do something different, and hopefully it'll work. We'll see. Still early to tell.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have patience.
Yeah. We're on episode 2, and we are aware there's 5 more or something.
So we shall see.
Yep. Those, you know what? I'm not making this up. Half of the reason I do this show with you guys is because it helps bring, some enlightenment and some clarity to me as too. That's a very good point. What you just said too, Josh and Bailey, when you expounded on that. That's right. This was Mandalorian was supposed to be the Boba Fett show, and now that we have the Boba Fett show, they got to turn Boba Fett into something a little different. So, there it is. Crazy 8. Boba's Lee Van Cleef. If for some of you old guys, Bailey's like, what brand of noodles is Lee Van Cleef? I would eat those,
I'll have you know, I don't eat noodles. We've had this conversation.
Fair enough. Oh my God. Okay. So we passed over the part that the reason when he went and got him is because that spice train is going by. And so he gets these bikes to train them so that they can go raid the train. And I'm going to bring this up, but this is going to be my one graphic, you guys, for the whole train scene, because there's we'll talk about it as a whole. Bailey, let's go back to you first, ma'am. What did you think of the train heist scene?
I thought it was entertaining, but this is also something I've seen multiple times in Star Wars. Like we saw something like this in Solo. There's a Clone Wars episode where Asajj Ventress is on a train. So I
didn't know that.
Oh yeah, in that she was rescuing somebody. She was working with other bounty hunters actually to rescue somebody from a train or protect somebody from in the train. Yeah, it involved a train. But yeah, this is something we've seen before, so I wasn't surprised to see it, but it was entertaining. I don't dislike it. It was entertaining. The action was good. I have no complaints. It's just something I have seen other times, so I wasn't surprised to see this. And again, Western. So yeah,
Right, yeah.
we can't have a Western without a train scene, I guess.
Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid right here. Yeah. When I saw that train go by, the first thing look, this Rogue One, but not in the snow. I mean, Solo, but not in the snow. So yeah. Josh, your thoughts on the whole train heist scene up until they finally finish, and then we'll move on to that part of it in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Bailey. I thought it was a cool scene. It was fun. It, like I've said before, it was cliche. It was something that's been done before. But yeah, it wasn't done poorly. It had some cool action moments, and it was good to see him work with the team. Hey, Matt. So yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see the Tuskens and Boba actually cooperating together, and kind of showing that he is part of the tribe now. So
I did get a kick out of that, and people are already making comments that Mr. B, she kicked ass making her way to that port. Star Wars 77 like she was about it. So we talked about, and I love the term that you guys used. The organic humor of Star Wars. They may be trying to be funny, but they're not trying to be overly funny. She does the coolest thing one of the coolest things I've seen in Star Wars with that swoop bike. And I got a kick out of that. Yeah. But I busted up laughing when the Pike Syndicate guys started disappearing, and then she popped up out of that thing like, what are you guys doing? Let's go. And then the other ones disappear. Is that the kind of organic humor you're talking about, Josh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it fit with the scene. It didn't seem out of place. And it didn't seem like a joke. It just seemed like something that would happen in the moment that is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bailey?
Yeah, I agree. I thought that is something that might happen when you're on a train with people trying to kill you. Your head might pop up at the wrong time. So I think it's great.
And she's a badass, and she's been one or three steps ahead of Boba the entire time. So I like the idea that even though she got on the train last, she's ahead of him on the train. I thought that was awesome. So yeah, I thought it was a cool scene.
Yeah. Is it wrong, Josh, and then Bailey, I want you to answer this for me. Is it wrong that, and I'm being dead serious about this Tusken Raider is my favorite character in this show so far?
Yeah.
Josh,
I've enjoyed her. Yeah, for sure. As far as new characters they've introduced, definitely I'm the most intrigued by her for sure.
Bailey?
Oh yeah. I know more about her than Fennic Shand now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Frankly, yeah.
I'm going out on a limb. He's not with the Tuskens by the time we see him in the Mando series. He develops an affinity, if not a full-blown relationship with this character, and she's killed. And that's what kind of finishes it off. I think
they're all going to die. I think the whole tribe's going to get wiped out somehow, and it's going to somehow be his fault. And I think that's going to be why he's just roaming the desert alone.
I'm not being rude. Look, that's a good point. I never saw it. Look at the image closely. It looks like she's got Mickey Mouse ears on.
Well, isn't that poetic?
Yeah, I wonder how much money Favreau got thrown into his budget to represent almighty Disney. That's a good point, JT. That's awesome. Oh, my God. Oh, that was great. So they're successful, and I enjoyed that scene very much. We're just going to touch on this real fast, and then we'll talk about the end of the train heist scene and him being inducted, you guys. But this guy real fast. Bailey, thoughts on this guy?
Is it really Star Wars if you don't have an asshole murder droid somewhere? He's just added to the collection. Yeah, this guy sucked. I mean, like, he really did. I think he was worse than the Pikes, to be honest. Like, yeah, no, this was humorous, but also like, wow.
Right.
Wow.
Josh, when you saw this guy just dump him like he did, what did you think of this robot?
He's a total asshat, but I love it. Like, and again, that is Star Wars humor. Like you've got to have some droid that's either just a total smart ass or a complete dick, and he kind of in some ways fits both. And I love the fact that he didn't die. That you see him scurry off there at the end. So no, he'll be back.
Yeah. So let me ask you. Wait, that was the wrong one. There we go. Did you guys hear the little audio Easter egg that he made that calls back to the droid that is carrying Anakin and Padme in the rickshaw.
Oh, no.
Did you guys hear that?
Mm-mm.
So just as he turns into a spider droid, this one that we're talking about now, he goes quadruped and he looks over and he goes Doki Oki and runs off.
Oh.
The little droid
yeah.
that's rolling with the rickshaw when he says, wait here,
Yes.
looks at Anakin and goes Doki Oki. Remember that?
Oh.
Yeah. Brandon would be proud of me, but he's not here, unfortunately. If you wear headphones, you catch all kinds of wild stuff in these things. It's really cool. So Boba Fennic and 2 Gammies. They might do some Tusken support. Yeah, hey, who knows, Gary, right? And there you go. That droid's going to get his own show.
Or an arc in an animated show. We'll see.
Yeah. We haven't seen the last of him. Guarantee it.
Now, it is possible that Boba's connection to that tribe could help. Maybe at some point he's going to need an army, and he may unite the tribes. And that was why they introduced that whole idea of there being multiple tribes of sand people.
That's a good point, too. Yeah.
Maybe they could help him take back Mandalore. I'm telling you, that's what it's all building towards, is him building an empire and an army that ultimately is going to help Bo-Katan and Din Djarin later down the road. And that's why it keeps having these flashbacks to him as a kid and his connection to Jango. And I think it's going to be about him trying to reconnect with his heritage. And I could see, I mean, it would be a badass sequence to have a bunch of stormtroopers fighting an army of, mercenaries and bounty hunters and underworld type people and Tusken Raiders and Mandalorians. Like, that would be a hell of a fight. So I'm all for it.
No, Josh, there's 10 more flashbacks we got to get through. So why are you making sense? That makes too much sense. We got at least 3 more episodes of flashbacks.
Absolutely.
Bailey with the bucket of cold water. Bring it on, girl. But it's accurate. Yeah. Keep it handy, girl. Keep it handy. I know. It's accurate. Bailey, since we're on you right now. Okay. We got the train down. We got the train down. And now we're doing a little negotiating. Not a whole lot to talk about here. What did you think of this scene from a writing perspective specifically? I keep asking you that. How this ended? What did you think?
I mean, I guess it made sense. The whole point is for this train to never return. And then basically what he was telling them is, if you cross their land, you got to do X, Y, and Z. If not, you will be killed. Just the law of these are not people to. It's not okay to be killing these people. So it made sense. It was a very natural ending to that, Honestly, I initially thought they were just going to blow up the entire train, to be honest, and that there was going to be no survivors. But, I mean, and so we're probably going to see these guys again in the future. But again, we got to stay in the present more. So I think this might tie in later.
Bailey, I'm going to ask you a question really quick. We'll talk about this, and then Josh, I'm going to go over to you. But really quick, I just want to say, hey, there's usual, Mike. Good to see you, Mike.
Hey,
I appreciate
Mike.
you stopping by. Yeah. So Bailey, we'll stick with you for just a second. I switched to this picture. I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. I tried to research this as best possible. In Clone Wars season 7, the Pikes look like these fish people with big headdresses on. In Solo and maybe some other places, they look like this with this weird robotic, and we think that guy is almost probably half robotic that's running this Kessel spice mines. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so. I've been one of those people confused too, because we see these people look one way in one show and the next on the other. But yeah, so I take it these are masks that they're wearing.
So that was the question.
What they actually look like. Yeah, they actually look like the unmasked. Yeah, those are the Pikes. They kind of look like fishes.
Yeah, and everybody's saying it. Till now, there's been a huge plot hole. And then I love that they took a quick second in Boba Fett to show that, they're wearing masks. These are all Pikes, which I thought was pretty cool. Josh, let's move up to you, sir. Hold the end of the train scene and then what you thought with how they dealt with the Pikes here.
No, I liked it. I thought it was a cool way to bring the Pikes into it because, again, it's another syndicate that's obviously going to be involved somehow. And I like the way that he interacted with them. Hopefully that will build some level of respect between Boba and them now that he's in more of a leadership role. I don't feel like he was necessarily the one in charge of that situation as much as he was just kind of a interpreter. for the Tuscans. I feel like they were more the ones that had laid down the rules and wanted him to negotiate them directly, since the others, the Pikes wouldn't speak their language. I enjoyed the scene. It was cool. It was a nice way to explain the differences for people and kind of iron out that detail without it seeming forced. It was very organic. I liked it. Thought it was pretty cool.
Nice. Without going into a lot of detail, I'll just point out that there were and I saw a lot of conversation online. There were a lot of parallels between indigenous groups being maltreated by colonization and colonizing factors. No specific races involved in whatever. And I thought they really did a kind of a good job of showing, and we're really getting a good feel that the Tuscans aren't these heathens that we were taught that they were in A New Hope, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So they head back to camp, and we're chilling at the fire like we do in every good Western movie, right, Bailey?
Yeah, everyone takes a psychedelic trip.
I just want to know where I can get some of that lizard.
Trying to get some lizard.
Yeah, I was like, oh, a gecko, and then it's in his head.
Yeah, well, you guys saw this. I know you did. They started it off with blowing some dust into his face, which I think might have been spice, if you want me to be honest with you. Like, let's just try this crap. Yeah. To get it started. Bailey, I've got 2 or 3 pictures that go along with this, but the whole here in the tent, going out to the tree, the things we saw once again with not even flashbacks, but images, and coming back right up until they do tell us about what you thought of this, how that was executed. Is that a good thing, the way they did it, or bad thing, or what?
I mean, it made sense, because I noticed, like, in Star Wars a lot, and I'm using the Clone Wars a lot as an example, is anytime they meet like an indigenous tribe or people somewhere, there's always a scene like this where, after they get on good terms, we're hanging out in the tent, and so something like this made sense. And to me, I just kept thinking Western the entire time. So yeah, this was no surprise to me. But the lizard going up the nose and the whole dream sequence, that was a surprise. But everything before that was not a surprise to me. So
this we have a large Native American population here in Arizona. So it's like a peyote type of thing apparently that they use in there. Yeah. Josh, your thoughts on this and getting us out to the tree and stuff?
Well, I was excited to see a cameo from the Geico Gecko. I thought that was really cool that he got a chance to be in Star Wars. It's kind of a horrible scene, to have to, like, I hope he had a stunt double to climb up someone's nose. As the star, I wouldn't want to have to do it. But no, I thought that was pretty cool. I've heard of licking toads, but never snorting lizards. So it was definitely interesting. But it was kind of a callback to the weird mind control earwig things from The Wrath of Khan that Khan uses on Chekhov. Yeah. It was definitely a moment we've seen before in many films, and we've even seen it before in Star Wars. If you remember in the Tartakovsky 2D animated Clone Wars series, in the second volume, Anakin has a similar situation that occurs with that group of tribal people that he helps. I thought it was cool. I don't think that it was anything out of the ordinary, and it was kind of neat to see it in live action, and the vision with the tree and everything was it was cool. And expected. I kind of had a feeling it was going to happen at some point with him dealing with these people.
So you guys you could see it coming. For lack of a better way to put it, the peyote ritual to be inducted into the tribe. Yeah. Yeah. You know why that's funny, Gary? Because it's probably possible. I spent 25 years dealing with people who would do stuff like that, right, Bailey? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. Sir, what do you have? And what's up here? Never mind. We don't want to know.
I just wanted a vision.
Yeah, look at Josh. I was having a gecko gag and you beat me to it. Gecko. So I want to concentrate a little bit on this tree. I'm seeing now. They say that Tatooine used to be oceans, and apparently there's some lore that's canon that some group
and the Tuscans reference it. They talk about they were still oceans. So
Oh, look at that.
Exactly. That's exactly
okay.
what I was going to say.
Go,
and
Josh.
if you notice, well, I was saying Boba's daddy issues, and that's why it keeps flashing to him holding the helmet and seeing, standing at the window watching Django fly away, and you see the little tree and the big tree. And if you notice, when he goes up to the tree, he is embraced by the big tree. And so it's almost like a big hug from his dad sort of situation. It's like maybe that's what he needs. He wants to be embraced by his heritage. And again, I think that's what it's all visualizing for us. We just don't understand it yet, like he will soon.
This is some storyteller stuff right here, Bailey. Did you get that same vibe off it? What are you thinking?
No, not at all. And now that you got, and you know what? Sometimes I like getting on the stream because some of y'all find things that I don't notice. So yeah, no, I did not get that, but hearing it and seeing it again, yeah. Makes sense.
So definitely daddy issues, right? Because it starts off.
But the way that it flashed to the Sarlacc, that to a certain extent may also symbolize how his daddy issues are suffocating him to a certain way. They're kind of
Wow.
Daddy issues is a common theme in Star Wars, huh?
Yeah. All the women get killed. Everybody has daddy issues.
Yeah. Somebody loses
a limb. There we go. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Great. We love it here.
Exactly. At least they give us the Star Wars we're used to, so we don't feel so uncomfortable, right?
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Right.
If I could reach through the screen, I'd backhand it. I'm hearing that. It's like poetry. Yeah. You know what that is? That's an excuse to do the same old crap over and over again. Is what it is. Oh man. Let's see. Well, let's face it, Paul. If we see our dad's decapitated at 10 years old, we have daddy issue or two. Yeah, fair enough. Man. Okay. We know why they sent him out there. He comes back and it's like, oh, Bailey, did you see this coming at least?
I was kind of relieved to see this because I was like, if this episode ends and we still don't see this man in the black robes, I know I'm going to have to sit through another 30-minute flashback. So I was relieved. I was like, oh, okay. It's all coming together. It was all worth it. Like, yeah. Pleased to see it because I did not want episode 3 to continue with this. So it's great. I'm glad we got there. We made it.
Fair enough. Joshua?
Well, it was very much an antithesis to the suiting up scene that we see at the beginning of the first episode when he's putting his armor on. And also if you notice, those scenes kind of bookend the 2 episodes, which again is why I feel like those 2 episodes should have either been one or released at the same time, because they obviously were telling one complete story between the 2. But it was good to see it. It's now we know how he got them, which obviously we knew anyway. We knew that they were building to it, and I'm glad that they didn't drag that out and they went ahead and got to it. But again, it was much like the suiting up with the armor scene. It was a little cheesy, but it was okay.
So I've noticed really quick, Josh, you're more of the cinematographer. Bailey's more of the writer storyteller thing. So from like how they filmed this, you said it was a little cheesy. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was silly. It was it was over dramatized, and it was it was like Batman suiting up in the Schumacher Batman film. I was expecting to see some Fett nipples. So
well, we did. We saw him. He had his shirt on. Yeah. What you were hoping to see was some Fett butt. Is what you get some of this back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Little back shot. But
right.
But no, it was okay. But again, it I think more than anything, it was just too long. They just kind of needed to do it and not make it so long and drawn out and like it was this big ceremonial type thing with him, the way he was standing with his arms out and everything. It was a little, I don't know, crucifix like. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Bailey, how they shot that? For the most part, they could have sped it up. I agree with Josh, but I was okay with it until we started doing this. I was like, what?
Enough.
Okay. All right. All right.
Enough. Superman got in his suit faster. Like every other superhero has already saved the day by the time this dude gets his robes on. Enough. Right. I'm tired of this whole Jesus imagery.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just enough with this chosen one prophetic. Enough. I don't care. I don't care.
G-force.
You
And
gotta
it's-
change your clothes. Good for you. Let's move
Yeah.
on.
And it's Jesus Christ pose. Right,
I know.
exactly. And then Al,
Continue. Yeah, no.
you really, Boba, you're not that guy, pal. You're not.
Right, yeah.
Chill. So bring it on down a little bit, bro.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, calm
Yeah.
down.
Narcissist much? Okay.
David C makes a point. To be fair, he was stoned and had a lizard up his
Yeah.
nose. So yeah, please, can I just stand here for a second, you guys? God, okay, yeah,
Please dress me.
yeah. So you can be a little dramatic. Fair enough. This is why I like having
I'll
David.
give him that. Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Little bit.
All right, that's reasonable. So, Bay, let's start off with you this time, ma'am. I don't know. Maybe it's because of being a prior military weapon, whatever, married to a woman who has more weapons than the French army. I don't know. I enjoyed this making scene. What did you think of this?
No, I think it's great because weapon building is a very personal thing in Star Wars. With these guys, this is a very personal and intimate thing, and you make it your own. Lightsaber construction is just like this. It's very personal to the person. So this is no shock to me, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this way more than the road scene. I'll see this over that any day. So no, I think this is great, and it's just again following that tradition of the weapon or whatever it is that a character uses is an extension of themselves. So I think this was great. Definitely, it was probably one of my, I would say probably like my favorite part of the flashback sequence. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Josh, you've been around long enough to see some of the old 80s movies. Like every one of our 80s movies had like a montage and it was like a Depeche Mode or a Talking Heads song going over it. And they keep doing this. First of all, did you like that how this was filmed and how they did it? And second of all, is it bothering you that they're using so many montages?
It does bother me a little bit that this particular episode was very montage heavy. But I mean, I don't hate montages, and we had them in Mandalorian at times too, like the episode where they helped that one little group of people against the guys with the ATST. There's the whole training montage for them and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind the montages, and I don't really so much look at this as a montage as much as it was supposed to be kind of a ceremonial moment for him, and I do appreciate that it was like a lightsaber building moment.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I feel like something about the lighting and whatnot. I just would have liked it to have been maybe at night with a fire and it to be a little bit more, some more ambiance to the scene as opposed to him just being out in this stark, bright desert. I mean, I know it's Tatooine and I know it's a desert and blah blah blah, but like we see tons of that. So I prefer the night scenes more than any. And it immediately is followed by a night scene, and maybe that's a contrast thing that they wanted. I don't know, but spend the day making the weapon, spend the night in the ceremony kind of thing, and I guess that's fine. But I just would have liked for him to have been brought up to this forger guy who's waiting there, and he's kind of sitting there around this smoldering fire, and it's just kind of dark and shadowy, and Boba's sort of at first not sure what is going on, and then he realizes what's happening, and then he calls him over and shows him what to do and makes it known that it's his responsibility to actually craft this thing, and then kind of watch it go from there. So again, it's more about ambiance than anything else. Just the visual aesthetic of it.
You know what? That's a good point, and that kind of plays into a lot of
Sets
what we've
the mood.
Yeah, we've been talking about things don't look right at times, even though I thoroughly enjoyed this. But I wanted to point out one thing, Josh, and it's very important that you understand this. You're probably wrong about this because just about the time you started talking about that, Chantel got here. Chantel got here. So she's the one who told me that you're wrong most of the time, if you'll recall. Which is why I say that. Yeah,
Typically I am. And I accept that, but it's okay.
All right. No, 100% agree with you on that, though. I think ambiance was the only way they could have taken that from 99, 95 to 100 for sure. So, here we go. So the purpose of making the gaffi stick was beautiful and appreciated the ritual, but the montage made it look silly, almost as they were. Yeah, I think a lot. Josh, the lighting had a lot to do with it. I'm going to go with you on that.
Yeah,
Bailey, did you notice that?
It did take away from what made it seem spiritual and ceremonial, for sure.
Right.
I think by this point, even though it's like, I enjoy seeing this and I know how important making a weapon is to the, the story and lore of Star Wars. By this point, I was like, I don't know. By this point, I was like ready for it to be over with.
Right.
So if not having a montage would have made it shorter, then of course I'm going to enjoy that a little more. So yeah, by this point I was just like, come on. Like I'm thinking of Judge Judy almost, where she's just kind of tapping, like, all right, I get it. I've seen enough. But I think like if we didn't have like, the whole bike riding montage and whatnot, I think it would have worked. But I think since I've been so overloaded with montages and a dragged out flashback, that this is why I'm getting like antsy, I guess. Like, let's just get this done.
Fair enough. You know what? And once again, I find myself agreeing with everything you guys say to a certain extent, because that's a good point as well. This was of them. If I had to pick, we could have just taught the Tuscans how to ride the damn things in a hurry and concentrated on this. But,
right.
Are you guys seeing in the chat here? Apparently, there was the chisels are from the real world.
Yeah, the chisel was something straight out of Home Depot.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't catch that. I did not catch that. Thank God. Okay, yeah. Wow. Oh, okay. So yeah, the chisels were odd for sure. Yeah, I didn't catch it, so I'm lucky. Bailey, did you catch that or yeah?
No.
Okay,
you guys catch things that I can never catch, so good for you.
Yeah, fair enough. So he finishes his gaffy stick. Everybody's like, yes, you have done it. And I'm still trying to decide what I think about this. And I think Tamora Morrison had a lot to do with how this episode ended. But Bailey, I'd like to start off with you on this point. We get the ending scene, and I'm not gonna influence you in any fashion.
Right.
What did you think of this?
I didn't need it. I get it. There's clearly a desire and a need to expand on Tuscan culture, like making them as like a people instead of what we saw like in the OT and in Attack of the Clones. I get that. But again, by this point in the episode, I'm a little antsy, and I just kind of, let's just wrap it up. And I think I would have to go with Josh. Like, I think it would have been more meaningful to have made like the stick or something like over a campfire like this instead of this song and dance that we saw. But whatever. I mean, I could just be a jerk, but like, no, I didn't need it.
Yeah, if I ever catch you sandbagging your opinion, Bailey, because we know each other long enough, I'll know this won't be any fun. So I want to hear what you really thought of this. That's why I asked you like that. So
I didn't need it.
And that's a good point. They could have combined a little bit of this and a little bit of that to make that gaffy stick scene more ambient like this. Josh, you kind of know how we feel, or at least how Bailey feels. What's your honest opinion of this last scene here?
I mean, I don't mind it. It's part of the tribal tradition and whatnot. But again, maybe combining those two scenes to a certain extent would have been kind of cool. Have him finish forging the gaffy stick, and then that is what kind of sparks the dance from that point on. But it was obviously heavily influenced by his heritage. It's very obviously Hakka, and it's just the way he was doing it. And again, at what point? Where did I miss the montage where they taught him the dance steps?
That's going to be the next episode.
Oh, is that going to be the next episode? That's the flashback of the flashback.
Yeah. We'll get a montage of that dance.
Yeah.
It's not just me. I'm like, I get it. Obviously, it happened off screen or whatever. But I'm like, how does he know to just walk up there and be like, "This is how we dance. This is how we do. Yeah. This is how." I'm like, But Bailey, that's Josh. You've had some zinger opinions, Bailey. That's one of the ones I like the most that you've had. This really, and it's built off what Josh said. This really could have been combined from the making of the thing over the fire, and then when he does it, just like a quick,
and then that spawns them all.
Maybe go around the circle, swinging the things. Yeah, okay.
And it would have been a much more, I think, triumphant ending to it all.
Yeah, this kind of made it silly, and I mean, like, no disrespect to any like cultural thing, but it's just like I don't know. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think. Oh wait, hold on. Great stream, Josh. Okay, thanks for stopping by, Dave. I appreciate you made some great points tonight. Yeah. No, and there's obviously no disrespect meant to Tamora Morrison's heritage in any fashion. It just felt like we had an episode, and then they tacked on a Broadway dance number at the end. It didn't kind of flow for me, and it seemed really overproduced. And Alan, who's one of my more articulate brothers, it was super dorky. But I think
it's cool that they paid homage to his heritage and gave him the chance to influence things to a certain extent, but I again, it was just the way that the scene before it flowed into it, and then the way that scene kind of capped off the episode just came off a little silly.
Yeah, agree. All right. You guys are doing, I'm just so ecstatic to be here. You're both doing so well. Josh, I don't know what you were ever thinking that first episode. I'm not going to have anything to talk about. Bailey, you are hanging in there for this just not being your area of expertise in jam, and I'm happy with how you're doing things. It's
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah, there we go. She actually agrees with you, Josh. Now you got
Oh, wow. That's on record. That's on the screen and everything right there.
Yeah, I'll throw that up there too. Yeah, so we're going to get into what your overall number for this episode was, guys. But before I do, I got to ask last time, which actually kind of surprised me. So I'm just going to do my little commercial thing really fast here. You've been watching the Book of Boba Fett breakdown with Josh and Bailey. We've been doing chapter 2. We're here every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, going over the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett. And obviously, it's super spoilery, which is why we wait almost 48 hours or however long it is to do this. I appreciate everybody that's been with us to this point. There's been some great comments, some entertaining comments, and it really helps me drive the conversation with these two smart people up there. And if you just got here, it's good to see you. Stick with us and catch it on the rewind if you can. But Josh, we'll start off with you, sir. You know how we do always as the guest. This episode only, 1 to 10, sir. Where are you at and why? Yeah.
Well, see, I gave the first episode a 6 against my better judgment.
Okay.
And but I don't really feel like this episode was a 7. But it was better than the last one. So I'll give it a 6.5.
So whole half numbers are accepted by Bailey.
I don't know. Are they?
No, they are. Yeah. Not 7.238.5
no
pi or anything.
If you want to put decimals, give me a rubric.
Okay.
And if Matthew, if you're still on here, are you with me? Do you accept decimals? Right.
Single space decimals on the halves. That's okay though, right, Bailey? 6.5. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, just not out to 17 places.
Yeah. Y'all be doing like pi numbers.
Oh, good.
So no.
Wait till we get here. My brother is trying to make my life difficult. I love you, Alan. Thanks. We'll get there. Bailey, yeah, she already sees it.
Not in history. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. Bailey, this episode only, ma'am. Where are you at 1 to 10 and why?
Okay, so I gave the first episode a 5. And this was I like this better. But it didn't blow me away. So to me, I think I'm going to go with a 7.
Okay, that's actually higher. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's high, but I'm not like overwhelmed or So I think 7 sounds good to me.
I'm actually a little shocked, and I'll tell you why, because I'm going to give you my number, and mine was a solid 7. What carried it were the action sequences and getting to see the Hutts and that Wookiee. That brought it to a 7 for me. So we're all about in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I would give it a 7. I mean, I would say between the two episodes,
come on, bandwagon. Now you want to jump on. Okay.
I'd be willing to go there, but I'm going to stick with my 6.5. So
okay. I thought you were going to backslide on me for a second there.
No, I'm sticking with my 6.5.
All right, that's what
I gave it more credit than I should have last week, so I got to cut back a little bit. We got to keep it, balanced.
Last week made me nervous, but as I mentioned to you guys, I got a little bit of an inside track. I think we're going to start getting a lot happier with this show as we progress, but we'll see. With that, if you're in the chat, I would love to have you type your number into the chat and see what you have. Some people have already started doing it. And if you want, especially if it's really high or really low, just a quick sentence on why you gave us that number. So let's go over and get started on some of these. Now, help me out here, Josh. Am I pronouncing this correctly? Do I call her Chantal? Chantal. Okay. All right. So it's more of an A sound at the end. Chantal.
L.
Oh, so it's like EL, like Chantal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. We spent way too much time on that. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Josh trying to teach me how to speak English. Oh, my God. Anyway, so she gives it a 4 for the first episode, but this one is 7. So right on board with us. Bailey, you want to explain this to my brother?
I can't explain it. I have no explanation. he did change. He did go to 5.5. So good for you, Alex.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry. I'm going to round down to 5. Oh my God. Josh, you SOB. Jenna, 6.5 euros. Oh man, that's funny. Rick, solid 8.5 out of 10 for the first 15 minutes, 11 out of 10. I will go with that. Those first scenes, I was like, yes, this is what I was asking for. Damn, there's the back to tank. You know what I mean? So, Linda, charitable. Wow, that is a charitable 8 because I really think the action scenes carried this one. So that's very generous of you. I like the way you put that. Alan's like, oh, I didn't know we had to do half numbers. So I appreciate it, brother. Let's go on down here. Not pronounced as tell. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Josh.
Who's wrong here?
Trying to get me in trouble here. You guys talk about it next time you're in this. I guess you do a stream with them and then come back and tell me, please don't mispronounce her name.
She clarified.
Oh, okay. I'll get down there then. Cool. Pizza a week. Oh, I didn't know you were in New Zealand, Pete. Thanks for being up with us.
Wow.
Yeah, 9 for him. Good. This is Gary Moe from the United Kingdom. Solid 8. All right. Jay Gilster's about with us. 6, better than the first, but come on, man. Bailey, it's a good thing we love JT, right?
Yes, and a hug.
And a hug.
Are you hugging JT?
Come on, man. You know who he's trying to bribe, Bailey. Come on, man. Milky Way, 8 out of 10. Wow. Okay. Because it developed changes that Boba has gone through and great action. I think that's fair, Josh. That's fair, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. They call me Shanti. Not like Chianti. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. We'll be here all day trying to pronounce it. No doubt. Because I speak a couple of different languages, but pronouncing names is not my thing.
It's like tail.
Why do you got to do the point 6?
You got a tail.
Okay.
I think
like a tale of two cities.
If you're going to put a decimal weird one, explain yourself.
Got it, crazy? There you go, brother. G-Force. He liked the backstory. Solid 8. Yeah. Oh, check out Mike with the 8.5. Okay. Yeah. That's not bad. Over here we got 7. There was an actual plot this time. Yeah. At least we had advanced on it for sure. Subconscious Patrick, this has been a great show. Oh, thanks, Subconscious. Appreciate that. Matt, 9.5 because of Jabba's cousins and Black Chrysanthemum, Mumtasi Station, and the look into Tuscan culture, plus the KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, and Dune reference. Dune. That's the other one, Josh, Bailey. Dune. We're seeing a lot of Dune stuff. Yeah. Okay. 9.5 though. Thanks for backing that up with a reason too. I appreciate that, Matt. And then Matthew, 7. The non-action scenes need to be a little bit better. Bailey?
I agree. I think the pacing just needs to pick up a little bit because, like I said, with each montage, I was like, I'm getting tired. And let me tell you, we watched this after work yesterday, so we're already tired.
No, okay.
So maybe we might have to adjust that, but yeah, by the end we're just like, like, come on.
Fair enough. Here's the hilarious part. She's like, yes, that is correct. And I have long since forgotten how I pronounced it now. So I'll have to go back and watch the stream. Patrick's at 8.5. More on the 8.57.
Thank you for explaining yourself.
That's okay. Oh, I love it. Really enjoyed this episode. Looking forward. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to next week's. And then Patrick with the long thing here. Let's see real quick. Best part is to be Spaceman Bob. He's working in the galactic space. Yeah. Boba Fett with the prisoner wants to see the mayor. Oh my God.
He should be lucky he wasn't shot. Luckiest man in the universe.
When he looked at Fennic, I was like, why are we still standing here talking to space? Oh my God. Anyway. Okay. This is your show, not mine. I could go on for hours. Somebody else has to host one of these and let me come on as a guest so I can rant. Doggone it. All right. Those are some good numbers. Much better than last episode, but we're all still wanting more. And now we have a decent taste of what we want to see. Is that about right, you guys?
Yeah.
So I'm not stupid, at least about that.
It was an improvement for sure.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Josh, one thing only from any topic you want, character, plot device, location, anything that you thought was good, probably the best thing they did in this episode.
I really loved the scene with the mayor. That there was just so much going on in that scene, and that got me excited for where the show could go. So yeah, I love that scene, and I want more of that.
Totally good. Yeah, Matt, I'll host the Kenobi live stream.
You might have people fighting for you for that.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Bailey, you know the question. What's your answer, man?
I just really like the present day stuff. I like seeing what's going on in the current day, and I want more of it. So I'm going to go with that. The first 15 minutes had my attention and got me really excited, and it was exactly what I wanted from the first one. So yeah, I want to see more of it, and I know we will, but I hope that the length of time we stay in the present extends. Yeah.
Linda stole my thunder. I was going to throw my favorite in there. Linda, I agree with you. When that huge Wookiee walked around the corner, I got literal goosebumps. I was like, oh, this is going to be so cool when we finally see them showdown or something. So it's going to be awesome. Mike, good. The faces of the characters we will see in action figure. Right? So as you guys have noticed, Josh, Bailey, you're kind of a collector, so I'm not trying to cut you out of it, but there's a subset of collectors over here in the comments, and it's like, we need a figure of that. We got to get that figure. Oh, that figure's going to be good. Let's get that figure. So,
well, the
Mike,
first one we're going to get is Muddy Boba, because that's just a repaint. So we'll get that first. Muddy Boba from Escaping the Sarlacc.
Coming to Sarlacc. Wow. Yeah, poor Josh. You've been beaten over the head by Hasbro like so many of us, right? I tell you. Oh, love the dude struggling to hold it. Yeah. Matt's Air Force call sign is Obi-Wan. I called dibs on the live stream. Fair enough. Matt was
again, that might be a fight.
Yeah. We might Matt's a former military officer as well. Like, was usually the first impression to get any stars is good. Yeah. And that's where I start off too. And Patrick, this is as good a time to say this as any. We're very critical here because I expect these two to be critical. If they weren't, I'd boot them and we'd get somebody who would be. But Star Wars is Star Wars, and we're still happy to have Star Wars. Am I mischaracterizing that, Josh?
No. I'm always glad to get new content, but I'm still entitled as a fan to have a level of expectations. Yes,
I want to hold. There you go. Yeah, Bailey. I want to hold this group accountable to what, and I know it's a little possessive, but this has been with me since I was 8 years old. I want to hold them accountable to what I have a vested interest in. I don't think that's unreasonable to ask.
It's not hate, it's passion. That's all it is.
Exactly. Oh, I like that. There we go. Yeah, I want to see some flying around too soon. So, Bailey, let's stick with you, ma'am. What's the one thing that you just cringed when you saw this episode? You're like, oh.
Just the forced comedy, I think. I can deal with the stretched out flashbacks. It's just going to be part of the show. I can deal with the montages, but the forced that's not Star Wars. It's not what makes Star Wars Star Wars. I'm here to watch Star Wars, not Guardians of the Galaxy. So I really don't like it. I want it to stay organic. So yeah, that's probably the one thing that makes me go, really? We just wasted 5 minutes on this. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Josh, how about you, sir? You know the question.
I mean, I could nitpick a lot of things, but honestly, the one thing that I'm still having trouble with is the production on it. I still feel like it's not quite where I feel like it should be. I would like it to look a little bit more cinematic, and it feels like a TV show with a decent budget, and that's unfortunate when it's Star Wars.
Yeah. So what you're building on that same feeling that you and I have been talked about, like something's too clean, doesn't look quite right. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't want it to look like a fan film. And I've seen some amazing fan films, and I'm not knocking them in any way. There's some that I love and in many ways consider canon, but if those are fan films, something that's actually produced by Lucasfilm should look quality. And this looks good for a TV show. It looks great for a TV show, but it's got to be more than that. If I'm paying a monthly premium in order to have access to it, then it should be a little bit more than a TV show, something I could watch on ABC.
Excellent point. I'm glad to hear you articulate this, because I watch this every week, all 2 weeks, and I'm like, something looks off, and I can't put my finger on it. And you articulate it so well. So thank you. Bailey, we got a little bit more time. We're only at 1:43. Are you guys still doing good as far as your schedules are concerned? Mm-hmm. Bailey? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. Everybody it's that time of the year. Everybody's getting back into work mode, dropping it back into fifth gear. The holidays are behind us, so I don't want to make sure I don't keep anybody too long. But Bailey, we're going to go with you. Next episode specifically, you got one theory or prediction you know we're going to see, or is it going to happen?
We're probably going to see the Hutts again. Okay. I would go with that. I don't imagine them, because they even said, like, oh, sleep lightly or something like that. So I have whether it's them or someone else, I think Boba might be, someone's going to try to attack him again. I think that's a for sure. But besides that, I don't have enough to go off of, I feel. And that's what's kind of frustrating too, is since we don't spend a whole lot of time in the present, I feel like I can't theorize as much as I want, because I don't, all I can say is someone's going to try to hit him again.
Okay, yeah, that's what, yeah. So your sum is, we're going right back to the Hutts next episode in some form or fashion, yeah?
Or someone else, yeah. Someone's going to try to knock Boba down again. And I'm hoping we stick around in that. We'll probably get another flashback.
Wow, play it safe, Bailey.
I'm willing to bet everything I have on that. I'm noticing a pattern. But yeah, someone's going to try to hit him again.
Fair enough. Josh, you know the question, sir. Theories and predictions specifically to next episode.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's still some more crime groups and syndicates to pop up. I noticed in this episode that there were a whole lot of Trandosians chilling outside. And I'm getting an itchy suspicion that we might get a boss cameo, and I'm really hoping that we do. I think that would be super cool. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to be next episode, but I feel like the Trandosians will be popping up sooner rather than later, so they may be the threat in the next episode. But I think more than anything, we're building towards an episode where Fennic and Boba are going to have to come to terms with the situation they're in and realize that they're a little bit in over their heads, and start trying to organize some sort of way to protect what they're building. Because right now they're just kind of out in the open, and there's people taking shots at them from all directions.
Yeah, you think the two Gamorreans just ain't gonna cut it for too much longer? They're gonna need a bigger group of
eventually
people.
they're gonna have to regroup and put a plan together of some kind. And I don't know if that's necessarily gonna be next episode, but I could see that. I could see whatever is in the next episode being a catalyst to them saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe we need to rethink how we're approaching this situation, and
Fair enough.
Feel out who our real friends are and who we can actually depend on.
Good point. So I was actually going to jump in on this one because they really hit us over the head with the Trandoshan foreshadowing. I mean, it's like, come on, man. There's like a good 10 seconds of lingering scenes on these guys. My prediction, Trandoshan's up next episode.
Yeah.
They're going to push the Fets off just a little bit. Bailey, not to be contradictory, I think they're going to push the Fets off just a little bit. And now we got Trandoshan lizard people coming at us next episode. That's what I think. So, and then there's this. We still haven't seen Speeder Bike Girl. And she's the only thing from the previews we haven't seen, the red-haired girl that shows up on the swoop bike. So Gary would like to see her next episode. But there you go. You guys, I tell you, it's like it's almost like being in a relationship. Would you agree with me with Star Wars? Because we care so much about it. We want it to be good, but we get a little disappointed. Bailey?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's love right there. You're going to have ups and downs. And, and I think Josh put it perfectly. We love it, but we're also entitled to be like, yeah, I wish I could have seen that. Or, we're entitled to that. And, if you have said that in the comments is, we're all here Josh and I are here to give our thoughts. They're not universal thoughts. They're our thoughts. So.
Yeah. Oh, Rick makes a good point. We haven't seen the dining table scene yet either. That's where next episode, that's where the Trandoshans make their move, whatever it is. Josh, I'm going to start winding us down, sir. Did I miss anything? Anything you wanted to go over? Anything you wanted to get out or say before I start getting us on up out of here?
You missed everything. There's so much. You didn't give me a chance to talk. No,
that's what happens when you get old. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I think we're good, man. I think we hit all the points.
All right, Bailey.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we've hit everything. The conversation, like I said, guys, in the comments, you really help us with the conversation. So thank you.
Absolutely.
It really helps us a lot. So thank you.
What is the theme of this breakdown show?
Listen.
Still better than Bad Batch.
We got to put it behind us, y'all. I'm here to talk about the Boba Fett. And that is it. That is what the shirt says. But I agree with you, Linda.
Speaking of which, it's an excellent segue, Bailey. Once again, you have been watching and are continuing to watch at the exact moment of right now. the Book of Boba Fett breakdown with Josh and Bailey. We're here every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we're talking about the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and things are starting to build. They gave us a couple more morsels this time to kind of whet our appetites and bring us back. So we're looking for some really cool and fun things to talk about for the third episode. But with that, unless I missed anything at all, Josh, Bailey, I'm going to go over to the comments real quick. And Peter, thanks for the guys that join us from Australia and New Zealand. God bless you, because it is, I don't even know what day it is there. So thank you. Linda, we already talked about that and the sequels. Patrick, I do hope they get it up to the right quality and expectations. Yeah, no doubt. Milky, Kira. Oh yeah. Kira's in charge of Black Sun at this moment. So we shall see. Yeah. But I don't want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Gilster, thank you for joining us again. I really appreciate it. Rick, it's always a pleasure. You crack me up. My incisions have healed pretty good, Bailey, so I was able to laugh a little bit more this time. So
I'm so glad.
Yeah, JT, look at that. Oh, nearly 4 a.m. where he's at too, and he's got to be up in 3 hours. Wow. Yeah, but so JT, thank you.
God bless you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
and go to bed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there we go. Pete's like, it's afternoon here. You guys, it's not a big deal to see you guys. Wizzy Wiz. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Saber, right at the end.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. All right, let's see, Mike. Yeah, it's 2:50 in the afternoon of Friday in the land of Ozpal. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I am the worst. I don't even know what time it is where I'm at half the time. So thank you for throwing that in there. Oh, that was nice. Chanta. I don't know. I'll go back and look.
Shanti.
But thank you. Yeah, Shanti. There we go. Thank you for saying that.
Shanti.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Bailey. Great stream from Matt. Glad you're doing well. Thank you, sir. Looking forward to the rewind next stream. Yeah, I know. I'll go back and watch it on the rewind, and I'll be prepared next time if you show up, ma'am. So with that, you guys, we are going to go ahead and get up out of here so everybody can go back to doing whatever it is they were doing with their lives. But Josh, Bailey, you know how we do. I got to get this in this hand, and we are going to see you on the next episode.